Good evening from Paris, where we are eagerly awaiting the arrival of Ireland and Scotland ahead of this huge Pool B decider. A game embroiled in a web of permutations that could see Ireland, South Africa or Scotland go home this weekend. Scotland are the favourites to go out, but they know what they need to do. They need to beat Ireland by 8 points or more and deny Ireland a 4-try bonus point. That may seem straightforward. It's not. Scotland have not produced a result like that against Ireland in a long, long time. 2007 the last time they did it. That was a World Cup warm-up match. 2001 before that. And Scotland have only beaten Ireland once in the last 13 meetings. There's another permutation whereby Ireland and Scotland can send South Africa, the world champions, out. But that would require Scotland to beat Ireland by 21 points or more and Ireland to score 4 tries. An unbelievably open game of rugby, but there's been suggestions here in the French media that maybe Ireland and Scotland could concoct that result. Well, unsurprisingly, the Scottish camp are giving that short shrift.
Nah, we've not. It's until I think someone just before we got briefed on it and said, like, I hadn't even seen the comments or anything. It's nothing that we've spoken about or wasn't aware of it or anything. So, like I said, we've just kind of focused on the job that we've got at hand. I think that's like a big enough thing to kind of focus on, and we'll just go out there and do our job. The 2 weeks after South Africa were tough. You know, everyone's desperate, especially after a loss. You want to get straight back in the saddle. So it was tough that couple of weeks. The boys were itching to get back out there. We trained really hard, but it's not the same when all the other games are going on around you. So, you know, the Tonga game was excellent. We got back on it there. I think the performance at the weekend showed, you know, just how desperate we are, how focused we are as well. I was so proud of the boys.
As for Ireland, they are the firm favourites for this one. They're the world's #1 side, going for their 17th win in a row, and Scotland will hold no fear. There is an injury, though, in the Ireland camp. Centre Robbie Henshaw has got a hamstring problem. He's not their first choice centre at the moment. He's their backup centre, but nonetheless a bit of an issue in terms of Ireland's selection. They will name their team tomorrow. Andy Farrell will will name a full-strength team similar or the same as that which beat South Africa, the reigning world champions, here 12 days ago. Paul O'Connell, Ireland's forwards coach, and their centre Bundyaki have been speaking at their camp in Tours.
You know, we haven't trained any differently or done anything differently, really. It's been, you know, it's been real good learning for the lads, and luckily for us, you know, those learnings have come in games that we've won. So you know, against a real good line outside this weekend again, who can cause problems for teams, and I'm sure they'll cause us a few problems. It'll be just down to how we react and how we handle them.
Look, we know the threats they pose, and they're playing unbelievably well for them. So we just got to make sure that we as a group and we as a unit and as a backline, that, you know, we know what's coming ahead of us, and making sure that we're on top of our game, because they are class players.
If Ireland do win and win their group, they will most likely face New Zealand in the World Cup quarter-finals. New Zealand are hitting their straps. They put 96 points on Italy on Friday night, and they're welcoming back their captain Sam Cane from a back injury. He's set to start his first World Cup game. That's tomorrow night here against Namibia. Meanwhile, France, who are also in this half of the draw, they have their worry over their captain Antoine Dupont. He's had a titanium plate put into his fractured cheekbone. He will not start Friday night against Italy, but he is expected to return for the knockout stages. A huge boost for France. Antoine Dupont is their captain and talisman, and he's the poster boy of this World Cup. That's the picture here in Paris this evening. Ellie, my colleague, is in Lille, 140 miles northeast of here, where England are preparing to take on Samoa. Ellie.
Yes, that's right. The England team will arrive here in Lille tomorrow. They've been training up in northern France in Le Touquet, but on Saturday they will take on Samoa in what is their final group game. Now, obviously the Rugby World Cup is up and running here in France, but there have been lots of matters at home being discussed. Jersey Reds, the latest club to go bust. It's been a huge talking point. 4 clubs in English rugby to go bust in the space of 12 months. Now, in the last few minutes, we've been hearing from Bill Sweeney, who's the CEO of the RFU, someone that we don't often get the opportunity to hear from, and he's been addressing some of the concerns about the state of the English game. Now, he has refuted claims that the RFU was warned about the situation in Jersey, insisting that that was not the case, that it took the RFU by surprise. He says win, lose or draw here at this World Cup in France, he knows that the system at home is broken and it needs to change. And one of those changes looks to be the introduction of some form of central or hybrid contract. We see central contracts, for example, in Ireland. It's something that the RFU is looking at. 25 players, we believe, will be involved, and it gives the RFU an opportunity to oversee that core group of players in terms of the number of minutes they play, their strength and conditioning, that kind of thing. Here's a look at what he had to say about it.
We've heard in the media recently about hybrid contracts. This is a conversation we've been having for some time now. The number of players involved is actually a bit more than 20, but we see this as critically important for Steve to have the level of influence and control over a core group of England players that helps us to retain those players in England. And we want the best English players to be playing in England, but it helps us in terms of strength and conditioning programs, individual development programs, skill support and development, club security, financial security, all of that. And we believe that's a really important part of this overall program. And the good news also is that the Premiership also believe in this 100% in terms of the benefits it will give to both club and to country. Those players performing well for their clubs, those players performing well for their country, and giving us that extra degree of stability as well. So that's a critical component in this.
So big changes to come in English rugby, more detail to come from the RFU on that. But back here in Lille, as I say, we're awaiting the arrival of this England team as they prepare to take on Samoa. They're 3 from 3 so far. Bill Sweeney today very pleased with that position. Samoa, regardless of this result, it is not a must-win for England. As I say, they're already through to the quarter-final. Now, despite that, I expect Steve Borthwick to name a full-strength side to take on Samoa tomorrow. England looking to build momentum to continue with that winning streak before they head to Marseille for their quarter-final. So we'll hear from Steve Borthwick and his captain Owen Farrell tomorrow as he names his squad to take on Samoa.